I woke up that morning with a mix of excitement and nervousness. Today was the day I was finally going to meet Mark, the guy I had been talking to on the dating app for the past few weeks. Little did I know that this day would turn into a nightmare that would haunt me forever. My best friend Sarah had also been chatting with Mark. We thought it was a coincidence at first, but we quickly realized we were both talking to the same person. Instead of getting angry or jealous, we decided to turn it into an adventure and agreed to meet him together. We arranged to meet Mark at a cozy cafe downtown. Sarah and I met up early, exchanging glances of excitement and anticipation. As we sat there, sipping our coffees, a woman caught our attention. She was standing across the street, staring directly at us with piercing blue eyes. There was something eerie about her gaze, something unsettling. It sent shivers down my spine, but I brushed it off, thinking it was just my imagination playing tricks on me. Mark arrived soon after, and we hit it off immediately. He was charming, intelligent, and seemed genuinely interested in getting to know both of us. As we chatted and laughed, I couldn't help but feel a sense of relief. It felt like we had finally found someone special, but our joy was short-lived. The woman with the piercing blue eyes suddenly appeared at our table, her presence sending a wave of unease through me. She introduced herself as Emily and claimed to be a psychic. She said she had a message for Mark, a warning of some sort. Mark seemed intrigued, but Sarah and I exchanged uneasy glances. Something about this woman felt off, like a predator lurking in the shadows. As if sensing our skepticism, Emily leaned in closer and whispered, "He's not who you think he is. He's dangerous." Before we could respond, Emily stood up abruptly and hurried away, disappearing into the crowded street. Mark tried to shrug it off, assuring us that it was just a bizarre encounter and that we shouldn't let it ruin our day. Reluctantly, we agreed and decided to continue our date. As the sun began to set, Mark suggested we go for a walk in the nearby park. It seemed like a romantic idea, so we eagerly agreed. Little did we know that we were walking straight into the clutches of our worst nightmare. As we strolled through the park, a sense of foreboding hung in the air. The atmosphere grew darker, and an unsettling silence enveloped us. Suddenly, we heard footsteps behind us, growing louder and faster. We turned around to find Emily, the psychic woman, running towards us with a look of madness in her eyes. In that moment, our hearts pounded in our chests, and terror consumed us. Emily grabbed Mark by the arm, her grip unnaturally strong. She screamed incoherently, claiming that he was the key to her escape from an asylum for the criminally insane. Before we could react, a group of people emerged from the shadows, all wearing tattered asylum uniforms. They were Emily's fellow escapees, a gang of deranged individuals. They surrounded us, their eyes filled with madness and desperation. Sarah and I tried to run, but they were too fast, too relentless. They captured us, tying our hands with rough, dirty ropes. Fear gripped every fiber of our beings as we realized the true horror of our situation. Days turned into weeks as we were held captive by these deranged individuals who had escaped from an asylum for the criminally insane. Our lives became a waking nightmare, filled with unspeakable horrors that no one should ever endure. Locked away in a dimly lit room, the air thick with despair, we were subjected to relentless torture. The gang of escapees reveled in our fear, taking sadistic pleasure in our suffering. They taunted us, their eyes wild with madness, as they inflicted unimaginable pain upon our bodies and tormented our minds. They would starve us for days, only to force us to eat spoiled, putrid food that made us violently ill. They would subject us to long periods of isolation, leaving us in complete darkness, our minds unraveling in the void. They would play mind games, manipulating our deepest fears and insecurities, breaking us down piece by piece. Sarah and I clung to each other, finding solace in our shared pain and misery. We whispered words of encouragement, silently promising each other that we would survive, that we would find a way out of this nightmare. But as the days wore on, hope began to fade. The physical and psychological torment had taken its toll, leaving us weakened and drained. Our bodies bore the scars of countless beatings and cruel experiments, our spirits shattered by the relentless assault on our sanity. And then, one fateful night, as we lay huddled together, the gang of escapees abruptly vanished. Their presence, once suffocating, was replaced by an eerie silence. Uncertain and afraid, we cautiously ventured out of our prison, only to discover that the asylum had been raided by the authorities. The escapees had been recaptured, but the damage had already been done. We were found by the rescuers, trembling and broken, our spirits shattered beyond repair. They brought us to safety, providing medical care and counseling, but the scars of our ordeal ran deep. Nightmares plagued our sleep, and the mere sight of a stranger would send us into a panic. Though we were physically free from our captors, we were forever imprisoned by the memories of that harrowing experience. Our lives would never be the same again. The terror we had faced in the clutches of those deranged souls would haunt us, a constant reminder of the fragility of our existence and the darkness that can exist in the world. In the end, our escape was not a triumph. It was a tragic reminder of the darkness that can lurk within the human psyche, a stark lesson in the importance of trust, and a chilling tale of survival against all odds.